Hello, everyone!
We kick things off with our hero Kuroto in the middle of some shady acts with a girl named Shirai. She is keen to do some kind of ritual, but in order to understand this, we will first need to take a look at the flashback. We move to a classroom setting where all the boys are talking about Shirai, who is the new transfer student. She is quite cute, but the students don't like that she shares a class with Kuroto, who is called a cis-con. This is not some Alabama vibe, but Kuroto seems to be looking for his imaginary little sister, which makes him a bit delusional. Everyone thinks that our hero is doing this for attention, so they focus on Shirai instead. However, even the girls have not been able to speak with her till now. Now, Kuroto comments that Shirai is like the MVP of babes. She is good-looking, has a curvy body, studies well, and is also good at sports. It could be why she is not very approachable, but Kuroto is more interested in her because she has a similar hairstyle to his little sister's. Bro keeps talking about this sister of his, but then he notices that Shirai has peeked at him. Kuroto panics and looks away, but then he gets a letter thrown at him. Later, our hero goes to the library and finds Shirai there, waiting for him. She seems to know his name, and he's the first person she speaks to in this school. However, Kuroto asks her if this is some kind of transfer punishment game. He is saying this because the letter that Shirai gave him stated that he should come to the library if he wants to know the location of his sister. He accuses Shirai of teasing him, but she asks if he really came here to be teased. Kuroto says that he would not risk missing out on any clues for his sister, so Shirai asks if he is seriously looking for a little sister. He says that she disappeared in front of him, so it may make him sound crazy. There is no record of her either, so Shirai does admit it is hard to believe. Kuroto does not know why he is sharing this information with her, but then Shirai asks if he is always watching her in class. Kuroto says it's just the angle that makes it seem that way, but we know what kind of man he is. Even so, Shirai feels as if she is getting some intense stares from him. Our hero tries to defend his intrusive thoughts, but then Shirai does something totally out of pocket and asks if he would like to take a closer look. Kuroto asks her what she is doing, but she simply asks him if he has ever done anything naughty in school. Bro says no immediately, but then Shirai gets her freak on and says that she has finally found him. She proceeds to ask Kuroto if he likes this, but he knows it's better to keep his mouth shut for now. Shirai then states that it's not every day that Kuroto will get so lucky with a total babe like her. Kuroto is doing his best to control his hormones, but Shirai forces him to look at her, which is definitely an Uno reverse from usual situations. Kuroto now experiences visual cinema, but then Shirai says that something is wrong. He tells her that she is the one with the shady attitude, but then all of a sudden, everything goes dark. Kuroto has no idea what's going on, but Shirai does, as she says it's here. With that, the both of them are sucked into the darkness and get transported to another world. Kuroto looks around and tries to figure out where he is. Shirai seems to know it, as she calls it the unsatisfied gap. It's just like it was written in the book she's holding, but Kuroto is really confused right now. Shirai says that they have finally arrived, but she really needs to give us an explanation now. Kuroto does some thinking, and then he concludes that they have landed into another world. As he says this, a scary monster shows up from behind, and it seems to have its mouth on its stomach. Kuroto has no idea what this thing is supposed to be, but then it opens its mouth and reveals that it has some souls inside it. The monster goes on to take a bite of Kuroto, but Shirai pushes him away to save his life. She says that this is bad, but it's pretty obvious, so Kuroto asks her for more clarity. She says that she'll explain later, but they need to run for now. A chase scene follows, as the monster goes after the couple, and they manage to find some kind of room to hide in. The monster looks around for them, but Kuroto finds himself a bit too close to Shirai. She tells him to be quiet, but his heart pumps faster because he's basically sinking into her pillows. The monster seems to have left now, but Kuroto tells Shirai that she needs to dress herself properly. However, instead of making herself decent, Shirai asks our hero if he would like to see more. Bro does not understand why she is so keen to do this, but then she says that she is pranking him. She then says sorry to Kuroto for dragging him into this mess without even explaining anything to him. Now, Kuroto asks her to confirm if they have actually been transported to another world, just like the typical stories of comic guzzlers. Shirai says that this place is not big enough to be called another world, so perhaps it is another dimension. Kuroto is visibly clueless, so he asks if they can use magic here. Shirai says not at all, and it's mainly because of Kuroto, which once again renders him speechless. Shirai then states that she would have never imagined to find a Nesho in the class she transferred to. Once again, Kuroto has no idea what a Nesho is, but Shirai repeats that they are in the unsatisfied gap. We learn that it is a place that only appears when a person with the Nesho trait gets too excited thinking about unspeakable things. Our hero now realizes that he is the one who has triggered this place coming into existence. Kuroto says that this has never happened with him before, but Shirai says that he must have gotten excited when she started to show more than she should. This was the trigger for the place, and Shirai finds it entertaining that it's so easy to make boys feel flustered. Kuroto worries that he is now stuck with some female creep, but he also asks her if there is a way to get out of here. Shirai says that most of the information needed to survive here is written in the book she is holding. Kuroto asks Shirai what it is, and she says it's the reason she is alive. Kuroto asks for more clarity, and that's when Shirai reveals that she is here to retrieve some beads which are called Megatama. Kuroto asks her the purpose of this, but she says it is because of some personal grudge. Anyway, they need to find a way out of here, and the book says that they can leave through the altar in this space. Kuroto asks if they should trust the book, and Shirai says it should be fine. The Megatama may also be here, so she wishes to look for it. Our hero does not like that he is going along with whatever Shirai says, but he has no clue about anything in this space, so he has no other option. He then asks Shirai how she knew if he was a Nesho, as it may imply that she has done this with multiple other guys. Shirai gets offended by this and says that she is not like Bonnie Blue or Lily Phelps. Kuroto says it's a fair guess for him based on her behavior so far. Now, we learn something truly shocking, as Shirai says that she knew Kuroto was a Nesho because he remembers his sister who had disappeared. Of course, our hero wants to know more, but the tummy-mouth monster appears once again. It attacks Shirai, and she manages to dodge it, but gets injured in the process. Kuroto tends to her, but things are looking really bad for the couple. Kuroto has no option left, so he picks up Shirai and tells her to hold on. It seems as if our hero is going to farm some aura by running like the Flash, but instantly trips and falls, which makes it a hilarious scene. Shirai calls him a weakling, and panics because the tummy-mouth monster is closing in on them. She asks Kuroto if he is okay, but he says he would not leave her behind even if he wasn't. Shirai says they have no other option now, so she tells him to drop his trousers. Normally, a viewer would be shocked, but this is nothing new on Comic Guzzlers. The monster closes in, and so does Shirai, but her target is our hero's elephant. Kuroto asks her why she is doing something so shady during such a critical time, but she keeps her eyes on the prize. The monster is coming now, and from the looks of it, so will Kuroto. It's a really tense situation, but right before the monster reaches them, it stops completely because Shirai has unleashed the Tongue Twister 9000 on Kuroto. Bro is shocked beyond imagination, but Shirai can only think about how big this elephant is. Kuroto asks her to stop, but she calls this technique Zengi, which is needed to keep the monster away. Kuroto needs a lot more context than a simple name, but Shirai tells him to trust her for now. She then goes to town on his python, and soon enough, Kuroto can feel the elephant water coming out. In a surprise twist, Shirai tells him to control himself because if he gets post-nut clarity, then he will not have any desire and that will allow the monster to attack him. Kuroto asks what he should do, so Shirai says that he needs to endure it until the monster goes away. This is easier said than done, but our hero must now fight the toughest fight he has ever faced in his life. He endures and survives long enough for the monster to start vanishing on its own. which is a good sign. Now, Shirai can stop with her technique, and Kuroto can breathe a sigh of relief. It was a close situation, but the important thing is that the monster is gone. Shirai says that it's exactly how it was written in the book, but Kuroto is now on high alert after such a tease. Shirai asks him if he is already missing her tongue twister, and then she teases him some more. Kuroto explains that it was his first time, so it's only normal for him to behave that way. Shirai does feel bad for leaving him high and dry, but then Kuroto wonders if she has done this before. Anyway, he asks what that monster was, so she reveals it is a Nenokami. It is known to mercilessly swallow anyone who enters the unsatisfied gap, so it's like a guardian. Kuroto asks what would happen if he got swallowed by the monster, and Shirai says that his entire existence would be erased from the world. It's as if he had never existed in the first place, and this actually sounds very similar to what happened with our hero's sister. The couple has reached the altar now, and Shirai can already see one of the Manga beads. Shirai goes to collect it, but Kuroto asks her about what she said regarding him remembering his sister. That's when Shirai reveals that Nesho people are the ones who don't forget those swallowed by the Nenokami. All the dots now connect, and for further clarity we are taken to a flashback from 2 years ago. Kuroto comes out from a hall and is greeted by his little sister who asks him how it went. He says he passed, and his sister is very happy for her Oni-san. Kuroto says they will have some fancy meat tonight to celebrate, which makes his sister hesitate, but he reassures her that he has saved enough money for that. Kuroto thanks his sister for supporting him, and it's a really sweet moment, but then a car suddenly appears and seems to crash into her. However, Kuroto's sister is nowhere to be seen, and even the car driver says that it was just him on the road. Now, we're back to the present where our hero says there is no evidence that his sister even existed, which is why he is called a siscon. However, Shirai tells him that he is not delusional, and she believes his story. After all, one should not dismiss their family so casually. Even so, she does call him a siscon because his obsession around finding her does warrant the term. Jokes aside, Kuroto realizes that his sister must have come to this world, but Shirai tells him that they need to get out of here rather than looking for his little sis. Bro actually says it before her, because she is hurt and they don't have any leads for his sister. Shirai teases him some more by saying he is quite a gentleman despite being a siscon. Kuroto tells her he is not some Alabama weirdo, which surprises Shirai. The sibling love, so she should get her mind out of the gutter. Now, Shirai tells our hero to get the Megatama and be done with this place, but he tells her to chill. Anyway, Shirai tries to take the Megatama from the altar, but it won't come off. There's nothing written about it either, so this whole exercise may have been pointless. Kuroto panics and asks Shirai if there is a spell or something they can chant, and luckily, they do find some instructions. It is the ritual for transference to another world, which is exactly what the couple needs. However, the ritual is basically a game of elephants and kitties. Shirai will have to be on top, but Kuroto can't believe she is being serious about this. They don't really have a choice now, so Shirai says they just have to get it done. She also teases our hero by asking if this is his first time, and somehow brings the siscon tag into it too. Shirai then asks if Kuroto doesn't want to do the ritual with her, but he says that is not the problem at all. He wants to know if Shirai is actually comfortable with all this. So she whispers into his ear that she is totally on board, as it's her first time too. Now, it's time to get things going, so the python gets to work. Our hero can't believe that he is actually experiencing this, that too with the popular girl. Shirai now moves those hips like Shakira, and bro can see everything as if it's divine revelation. She even tells Kuroto that he does not need to hold back this time, which means that he can unleash the pressure from before. Soon enough, Shirai works her magic, and our hero unleashes his elephant water. Even Shirai seems to have experienced an explosion, and this causes the Megatama bead to fall off. Just like that, both Kuroto and Shirai are back to the real world, inside a school toilet. Classes for the day are over, so the students are told to leave the school. The couple looks around to see if they are actually back, but then they realize what they have just done, so they look away from each other in shyness. Kuroto keeps telling himself that it was just a ritual, and then Shirai notices the Mega-tama bead on the floor. Kuroto asks her if it is to do with some personal grudge, to which she says yes. She wants to gather all the Mega-tama beads from the unsatisfied gap, because her goal is to destroy it. Kuroto is worried to hear this, because he might lose his sister if that happens. He asks Shirai if she knows how to get him back, but she says sorry because she tricked him with what she wrote in the letter. She has no idea how to bring back our hero's sister, so it's on him if he wants to help her or not. Having said that, this is the only lead he has for his sister, so Kuroto agrees to help Shirai on this mission. All of this is fine, but then Shirai tells him that he needs to control his hormones as he can't get excited unless she wants it to happen. However, this is a natural function for men of culture, so in most cases it can't be helped. Shirai knows the risks, so she tells our hero that she will manage it if it gets out of hand. Bro has no idea what she is referring to, but then she states that she will take care of his elephant every single day if that's what is needed to get the job done. Later, our hero tells her that he is more confident of getting his sister back, but he didn't imagine having to do unspeakable things with Shirai to be the way forward. He then has to keep his intrusive thoughts at bay, because he can't open up any portals just yet. Now, Shirai shows up and tells him to come with her because he is needed. The others start spreading rumors based on what they see, and there's another girl named Momo-ka, who seems to be interested in our hero. Her friends take her away, and then Kuroto asks Shirai what she meant by managing his excitement. Of course, shady intentions are not visible, so Shirai says that she will build up Kuroto's excitement in school so that they can enter the gap. But if they don't end up entering it, then she will help him release it after school. This is easily a perfect case of it should have been me, not him. Bro needs more clarity, but Shirai wants to try something at the same time. Shirai is reading from a naughty novel, which makes our hero wonder how shady she is. She even reads out the title and offers more such manga comics, but Kuroto knows the best place for that is Comic Guzzlers. Our hero tells Shirai not to read it in class because it will disappoint the other boys. She doesn't care, and it's not like Kuroto has any friends to reveal this information to, either. Anyway, now it's time to enter the unsatisfied gap, but our hero is not sure if they should do it in school. Shirai then reveals that the school is actually one of the coordinates from where they can enter the gap. There are 6 total destinations from where they can enter, but the school is the only one they know of. There are 2 Mega-tama beads in each location, so that makes a total of 12 beads. The best time to do it would be after school, but Shirai does not know where they will end up once they enter the gap. Kuroto senses someone nearby, so he goes to check on it. He worries that this suspicious person may also enter the gap, but Shirai says only special folks like themselves can enter such places. Even so, Bro does not want the problem of rumors, but Shirai wants to get things started. She asks how our hero's elephant wishes to be treated, but he says he'll just look at the shady manga comics. Shirai looks disappointed, but Bro activates Chad mode and says she should not have to push herself to do something when an easier solution is there. She says that she actually wants to do it, and even wishes to use an idea from the manga. She comes in close, and causes Kuroto to get nervous, after which she tells him to have his way with her. There are no restrictions, whether it's her pillows or her bottom. This is enough for Bro to awaken the beast within, and then the couple gets transported to the gap. They reach some different location, and Kuroto asks Shirai to get off him, now that they have reached. Shirai is disappointed because she was just getting to the good part, but this makes Bro worry how she will be during the ritual if this is how she is right now. Anyway, the ritual is a proper process, so the both of them will just have to trust each other on that. Having said that, Kuroto wonders if this is the same place as the one they came to before. Shirai says it could be the case, as the building is the same as the lost one they were in. Suddenly, her necklace starts to glow, and our hero points it out. It turns out that the necklace is actually the Mega-tama that she picked up from the last spot, so they decide to follow the direction in which it is pointing. After all, it's not like they have any other clues that they can follow. They have to collect another 11 of these megatamas, and Shirai says it will be tough. At the same time, she says they should also look out for clues regarding Kuroto's sister. Our hero is surprised that Shirai remembers this, but she teases him by saying he has no other reason to help her. She then says there is the obvious benefit of playing elephants and kitties with her, but Bro says it's more of a benefit for her rather than him. Shirai asks if he is not interested in her that way, but this is besides the point. Anyway, the couple has come across something rather unusual. A shady character appears, and it seems to be a Neno Kami, although it looks quite different from the previous one. It does not notice the couple, so it would be best for them to keep things that way. They consider going around the place, but the Megatama is actually pointing forward, so they will have to pass through here. Kuroto asks if they can really make it without getting noticed, but Shirai tells him they are simply going to chase it away. She intends to do it with a ritual, so we all know what is going to happen. Shirai asks Kuroto that he doesn't seem too interested in shady activities, so she questions whether he is a real man of culture. He says that is not the case because he only wishes to do such things with a girl he likes or is special to him. Shirai makes fun of him by saying he is so innocent, but he tells her to keep quiet. She mocks him some more by saying he hadn't popped his cherry for this reason, but he calls her out by saying it was the same as her. Now, Shirai looks at him cutely and says she does not dislike this quality about him, and it makes him conscious. Of course, this statement from our hero makes Shirai question his intentions towards his sister, as he does find her special, so it could be an Alabama-type relationship. However, Kuroto tells her not to talk about his sister in such a manner. It's time to do the ritual now, but since the couple does not know the range of the activity, they get as close to the Neno Kami as possible. Things get really tense as they get right in front of the monster, and then Shirai says they should get on with it. She urges Kuroto to hurry up, so he does what needs to be done. Shirai seems to have been waiting for this, so she unleashes the Tongue Twister 3000 on him. Bro does whatever he can to last through the process, but when Shirai looks up, she notices that the ritual is not working. She decides to upgrade her Tongue Twister to 9000 and goes to town on our hero. She seems to hit a weak spot, so Kuroto tells her not to go there, but she likes that she has this information now. She still says that Kuroto will need to endure this much, and then it's Hawk-Tua mode. This goes on for a while, and Kuroto asks Shirai to stop, but there are much bigger problems for the two of them. The Neno Kami closes in on them and attacks without any hesitation. The both of them are shocked to see this, because the monster is not reacting to the ritual at all. Neither of them has any clue on why the Neno Kami is oblivious to shady acts, but things are going to get really dangerous for them if they don't evade it. After a lot of chaos, Kuroto is taken to a side room by Shirai, and they are able to evade the ravaging beast. Kuroto asks if they were doing something wrong, but Shirai says it was the same as last time. She brings out the book again and says that the ritual is something similar to the game of elephants and kitties. The only thing that's different is that the monster has a lot of legs. Kuroto then uses his big brain energy and realizes that this one has way too many legs to walk, and the previous Neno Kami had a massive mouth. He has managed to connect the dots, so Shirai asks him what's up. He is a bit hesitant to say it out loud, but Shirai tells him they need a solution fast. Bro reveals that just how the method for the altar ritual is set, there must be a specific way to do the ritual for the Neno Kami too. Shirai is clueless, so our hero explains that they were able to drive away the giant-mouthed Neno Kami because Shirai used her mouth. This time, they have a leggy Neno Kami, which means that both of them will need to tap into their Quentin Tarantino energy. They need to do what needs to be done, but Kuroto is not sure of it. Shirai says they need to perform the ritual, plus she always wanted to try this method out as well. She does say sorry in advance, in case she messes up, but Kuroto tells her that's all right. With that, Shirai gets ready to give everyone at Comic Guzzlers the first instance of a babe using her foot. It's not as easy as it looks, because Kuroto gets hurt in the beginning. He soldiers on, and Shirai admits this is going to be tough. She uses some quick thinking to show our hero a little bonus footage, because none of this will work if he doesn't get excited. It does help, so Shirai teases Kuroto for enjoying this freak show. She thought it was just Tarantino, but clearly, Kuroto is also learning new things about himself. She then calls our hero a creep, but he says she is the last person who should be saying that. At this very moment, the Nenokami arrives and starts to move in on them. As luck would have it, the monster does stop because of the unspeakable acts these two are performing, which means that Kuroto was right. Shirai is pleased by this, so she increases the pace, although our hero is facing a hard time now, pun intended. She tells him not to give in just yet, but things are not looking good for Kuroto and his basketballs. He tries to tell Shirai to take it easy, but she's in a world of her own, as she tells him to continue bearing it. She wants to enjoy this a little more, but it takes a sick kind of individual to take joy in this. As it turns out, the extended time does work in their favor, and the monster is banished from all the shady activities. With that, Shirai stops with one of the weirdest things we have seen on this channel, and Kuroto can breathe a sigh of relief. Shirai tells him he did a good job, but he is not too pleased by how much she was enjoying herself, while he was fighting for dear life. Anyway, Shirai admits that she never thought the ritual for the Nenokami beasts and the rites were connected. Kuroto says they will need to come up with some strategies for these situations, and Shirai is looking forward to whatever comes next. Bro does not feel the same way, and he reminds her that they are still at the risk of getting erased. Shirai is aware of that, but she states that it's the thrill of doing such things that is making them determined. Kuroto does not agree, because when your life is on the line, it's hard to enjoy these activities. Now, Shirai notices the altar in front of them, which means that the Megatama stone was leading them here the whole time. All that's left to do is to perform the ritual and head back home. The couple takes a look at the content, and they hope it's not too intense. The instructions state that it's all about being missionary, which is not too hard, considering it's what most couples know. It's not that difficult, but this time, Kuroto will have to take the lead. So Shirai asks if he is up for the task. He says that he's understood the assignment, so there won't be a problem at all. Shirai says that if he falters, then she will do her best to move him, although that is just humiliating for a man of culture. Now, it's time to get down to business and move those hips like Shakira. Shirai invites Kuroto, and it makes him nervous, but he has to step up. After a bit of fooling around, they find the right spot and lock in. Our hero's python seems to be better than what Shirai had expected, as she gets overwhelmed by it. She tells Kuroto to move or else she will do it for him. He is still a bit awkward, so she wraps her legs around him and starts doing the work. Kuroto does not like that he is not the lead, so he tries to step it up a bit, and this does a lot of things for Shirai. He has finally become a man now, as he takes the lead properly and shows us that he is not a shy one. Shirai is completely taken by surprise, as she did not expect this at all. It becomes too enjoyable for her, and she is about to explode at the same time as Kuroto. The couple experiences some intense explosions, and this is enough to take them back to the real world. As the couple catches their breath, Shirai says that the experience was surprisingly good. Kuroto almost feels proud of himself as he asks her if she is saying the truth. However, Shirai also comments that for such a pure boy, he did seem pretty eager to take her. Kuroto blushes and says that she should keep quiet, but the important thing is that they were somehow able to get out of there without anyone noticing them. The Megatama stones have been collected too, so everything is as per the plan. However, someone is there with them, and it's a cute girl who asks what the couple is doing in such a compromised position. This is Momoka, who once again asks what these two are doing. Kuroto says that it's not what it looks like, but judging from Shirai's condition, there's no hiding now. Momo is super shocked, but she promises not to tell anyone about what she has just seen. She quickly leaves the scene, despite Kuroto asking her to wait. He laments that the fact that he and Shirai have been caught, so she asks if he knows her, or worse, if she is his girlfriend. However, she quickly brushes that assumption aside because she says it's impossible. Bro is not in the mood for emotional damage, but Shirai says that a girl like Momo is way out of his league. He tells her to stop with the insults for now, but does acknowledge that Momo is quite different. After all, she has a lot of friends and is very popular. Shirai says that the two of them seem to be close as they were referring to each other by their first names. She wants to know more about their relationship, but Kuroto reveals that Momo is actually his cousin, which just makes him more of an Alabama suspect. Shirai is surprised to hear this, but mentions that they do seem close. Our hero says that they are in the same grade, but she is in the class next door. They had reconnected with each other after entering the academy, and they used to be close back in the day, but Kuroto is not so sure about the current state of things between them. Shirai says that with all the rumors going around of Kuroto being a siscon, maybe his cousin would not want to get too close to him. Kuroto says that such lousy rumors would not push Momo away, but something had happened last year which drove a wedge between them. Shirai says that they still got seen, so this is bad news. Kuroto says that Momo did promise not to tell anyone, but Shirai has a look of panic on her face, because she knows that Momo will definitely reveal what she saw to someone. She can already see tomorrow's headline stating how a delusional siscon boy attacked a beautiful transfer student. And since Kuroto is the male here, he's cooked. Even if he does manage to beat the allegations, the other guys are not going to spare him. He asks Shirai if she is not worried about herself, but she says that in such a situation, women don't have to worry about accountability. It makes our hero angry, but it's also the truth of modern society, so bro has to deal with it. Either way, some baseless rumors are definitely going to spread, but since Shirai now has a second Megatama stone, she is fine with making the narrative about them being a couple. Kuroto does not like having to use such methods, but if it's for his sister, he is ready to do anything. After all, things can't get worse than this at all. Shirai reminds him that the important thing is to focus on finding the next coordinates, so he gets thinking. We know that there are still 5 more locations besides this academy, but they are all unknown at this point. He asks Shirai if she has any leads, but she says no. She is hoping for the Megatama stones to guide them just like they did at the altar. She asks Kuroto to hold on to one of the stones, but he asks her why. She says that the stone could react when it's close to a coordinate, so it would be more efficient for the two of them to carry one each. Kuroto gets it, but Shirai still asks him not to lose or break it, as if he is a fool. Now we move to the next day, where all the students are tired after a busy day in class. In the middle of all this, Kuroto bumps into Momo, and it leads to an awkward pause. The other girls wonder who Momo is talking to, and they brush him off as the siscon weirdo. They ask her to come with them, but she says that Kuroto wants to talk with her. The girls say that she does not need to bother with someone like Kuroto, but she tells them to go ahead. The girls lament how Momo has such a sweet soul, but anyway, she asks our hero what's up. He wants to apologize to her about yesterday, but this makes her flustered. She tells him not to worry as she has not told anyone about it. She does mention that even though it's in love, to play elephants and kitties in school is a bit questionable. Momo then asks if the girl she saw Kuroto with is Shirai, the new transfer student. She also says that she did not think Kuroto would start dating someone like Shirai so quickly. He's more surprising than she had thought, because Kuroto does not exude Giga Chad vibes. Of course, this is a perfectly normal reaction and assumption, but Kuroto clears the air by telling Momo that he is not dating Shirai. Naturally, this sounds out of pocket, and Momo can't believe it after what she saw. Kuroto does not know how to explain this, so he says it plainly that he and Shirai are still involved even though they are not dating. Momo is in shock, as this seems to be one of those friends with benefits type of cases. Kuroto tries to explain that it's not like that, although he really can't come up with anything else. Momo brushes it off and nervously giggles while saying the kids of today are really ahead of the curve. Of course, it's not like Kuroto can tell her about the unsatisfied gap, so he keeps his mouth shut. Once again, Momo asks if he is romantically involved with Shirai, to which he says it's not like that at all. Momo takes this opportunity and asks our hero if he would be fine to do such things with her as well. This is something that even the folks at Comic Guzzlers would have found to be strange, and Kuroto is at a loss for words. Momo now says that she was just playing a prank on him, but he tells her not to shock him like this. She still laughs because of how red his face has gotten, and she gives him a wink before taking off. Kuroto breathes a sigh of relief, but then Shirai shows up from behind and says that at least Momo is kind enough not to spread any rumors about them. Our hero says that Momo is still misunderstanding the situation, but Shirai says there is no room for that, as they actually did get down and dirty. He agrees with her, but something is still nagging him. Shirai says that he basically does not want his cousin to think of him as Diddy, and he somewhat agrees. Even though Momo is his cousin, she is the only relative he has left, so it bothers him if she misunderstands him. Shirai asks about his parents, but he says they've both been gone for a while. It was just him and his sister, but now even she is gone, so things are quite sad for Kuroto. Shirai says that he is just like her, but Kuroto does not get what she means. Anyway, she says that such situations cannot be avoided, and everything will be cleared out once Bro gets his sis back. Our hero agrees, but then Shirai asks him what Momo had asked that made him so flustered. She can see the excitement already, and says that he should not be so easy to entice. Kuroto does not know how he should control such feelings, so Shirai plays with him and says that she could run her hands all over him while making him endure it. There's also the option of doing naughty things all night long until he gets used to it. Kuroto tells Shirai not to push it, but she can sense his desires from a mile away. She says that with such easy excitement, he may need to train a bit harder. Our hero has had enough, so he grabs Shirai and pushes her back. Of course, he just had to grab her by the pillow, which makes the whole thing goofy. It seems to be shady enough to trigger another transportation, as the two of them find themselves inside yet another portal. It was at this very moment that Kuroto realized he messed up. Shirai taunts him by saying this happened with such a simple touch. The least he could have done was to endure this, but he says it was an accident, so he could not help it. None of this would have happened if Shirai didn't get too naughty, so she says sorry as she did not think Kuroto would be so weak. The disrespect is crazy, but Shirai says that they are probably just outside yesterday's building. She remembers the path so they can get out quickly. Kuroto says that Shirai is way too nonchalant, and it's when you're the most relaxed that you usually end up in danger. Anyway, they need to get out of here, but before they can do that, the couple hears someone screaming for help. To everyone's surprise, it's Momo, who is running away from the mouth Neno Kami. Shirai and Kuroto are both baffled, but they need to help Momo, so they call her towards them and then they lock themselves inside a house. Momo is tired, but she holds on to our hero because she was really scared back there. Shirai asks if she is okay, but the popular girl has no idea as to what's going on. Even Kuroto wants to know why she is here, and she says that she was on her way to the chemistry lab when all of a sudden, things became really dark. After that, she fell and the Neno Kami started chasing her without any reason. Kuroto asks Shirai how Momo got here, because apparently only special people are allowed in this zones. She wonders if this is because of what Momo saw yesterday, but Kuroto is not sure if that is the reason. Now, Momo asks what this place is supposed to be, so Kuroto explains that it is some kind of alternate dimension. Naturally, she gets shocked and asks if all of them are dead. Bro reminds her that they are not in a zombie school, and Shirai says that they will need to save the explanations for later. For now, they must focus on getting back home, and Momo is even more surprised that they can casually go back to the real world. Kuroto offers his hand, and even though she doesn't quite grasp the situation, Momo holds it and stands up. Our hero knows they must leave before his cousin is harmed, but there is also the risk of being seen while exiting. Momo says that as long as Kuroto is here, he will protect them, and she even gives a flirtatious face. She is really curious now, so she asks Kuroto and Shirai how they ended up in such a suspicious relationship. They are confused, but Momo asks if it could have something to do with the current situation. Our hero states that they really didn't have a choice but to do shady things to escape, which is all the more unbelievable to Momo. Bro says it may sound that way, but it's the truth. The cousin girl asks if they really needed to go that far, to which Kuroto says yes. Shirai says she is doing this for revenge, whereas Kuroto is doing it for his sister. Momo is shocked to learn that Kuroto is still going on and on about his sister, so she says that it's impossible because she has known him since they were kids. She even claims that our hero is seeing things because of the trauma of losing his parents. Shirai then tells her that she does not remember the sister because her existence was erased from her memories. After all, they are in another dimension, so that alone should be proof that anything is possible. Momo refuses to accept this, so she thinks that Shirai has hypnotized her. Shirai says that if that were the case, she did not need to do it to Momo, and even calls her a fool. The cousin girl asks Shirai what her purpose is regarding Kuroto, but she says once again that her objective is revenge. She jokingly adds that she is also after our hero's body, but he panics and asks her not to say such things. Momo calls Shirai a creep, but Kuroto says that this is not the time to be fighting. After all, the Nenokami has appeared, and they are in trouble. Momo refers to it as a black shadow, but that's like calling a tiger a house cat. There happens to be another mouth monster which has appeared, so Shirai takes Momo back in order to avoid her getting gobbled up. She then tells Kuroto that they will need to do what's needed to defeat the beasts. There really is no choice left for them, so Bro unbuckles his belt and says that since both of these are mouth Nenokamis, the technique to defeat them is known. Momo asks what the heck is going on here, but Shirai tells her to keep quiet and watch them go at it. This causes a funny scene as Momo asks if she really needs to watch this. So Kuroto tells her it's not necessary. Things are not looking good for the trio, as the Nenokami monsters close in on them, and Momo panics, so she stays close to Kuroto. Bro tries to comfort her, but he is getting comforted in his own way now, thanks to Shirai's tongue twister 9000. The monsters stop, and Momo can't comprehend what's happening here. Shirai tells her that what she is doing to Kuroto is actually a ritual which can be used to drive these things away. Of course, this is the most ridiculous thing a third person can hear, but she's also concerned by how Kuroto looks like he's in pain. He tells her that he just has to endure this for as long as possible, and he is ready to do it in order to protect Momo. This may sound heroic, but it sure doesn't look like it, as Bro continues to groan with the Nenokamis watching him. Momo has no other option but to stand and watch as her cousin gets violated by the transfer student. This goes on for a while, and Kuroto is able to keep it in control until both the monsters vanish from sight. Momo is shocked to see that they were actually able to drive the monsters away with their shady acts. But Shirai says that the Nenokamis escaped quite quickly this time. She asks Kuroto if he got extra excited because he knew his cousin was watching, but he obviously says no. Momo thanks Shirai for saving her earlier from the second monster, to which she says it's no big deal. Having said that, Momo still holds on to Shirai and asks her to stop doing such shady things with our hero. She thinks it's wrong to get your freak on with someone you don't like. But Shirai once again says that it is for the sake of reaching their goals. Momo tells Shirai that she should not try to drag Kuroto into her revenge fantasy, but she clarifies that she is not forcing him to do this. Our hero tells Momo that he is doing this because he has his own goals too, which she finds hard to believe. Once again, Kuroto tells her that his sister is real, and he is going to get her back, because that's the way of Chads. He will do whatever it takes to have his sister again, which touches Momo. Shirai says that they are almost at the altar, so they should continue this after they get done with the ritual and go back home. There is no Megatama stone here, so Kuroto wonders if it will be okay. But Shirai says that leaving won't be an issue. She learns that this is the missionary place, so they are going to repeat their previous acts once again. Momo doesn't understand, so Shirai tells her that they will need to perform in such a position to escape from here. Momo realizes that this is the ritual, and Kuroto instantly identifies her to be the one he had suspected of being an imposter in the washroom. Now, Momo asks if this ritual can be done with anyone, because if that is the case, then she wishes to be the one doing it. This has taken both Shirai and Kuroto by surprise, but the legends of comic guzzlers saw this coming. Shirai asks if she is being serious, to which Momo says that it's better than her having to watch. Shirai asks Momo why she wants to do this, because she was just talking about not doing things with people you don't like. However, Momo says that it's fine because she likes Kuroto. We finally have our Alabama moment, and we don't know if we should say that it should have been us, not him. Momo clarifies that this needs to be done in missionary, but Shirai asks her to wait. Momo tells her that she should not say anything because she is not dating Kuroto. With that, she pulls her cousin closer to her, and things are about to get really weird. Kuroto is not sure if he should be doing this, but Momo says it's fine because she wants her first time to be with someone she loves. This is not what our hero had expected to hear, but Momo asks him if he hates her. He says he could never feel that way about her, so she pulls him even closer and actually begs for it. With that, the unspeakable happens, with only Wayne from Gamer GA Isekai'd surpassing such acts as they were with his mommy. Momo sure seems to be loving it like McDonald's as she has finally connected with Kuroto. Normally, this would be a beautiful moment, but the fact that they're cousins even makes us uncomfortable. Shirai watches on, and it looks like she's enjoying the show. Momo calls out Kuroto's name again and again till she is about to explode. Kuroto is pretty much there as well, and eventually there are massive explosions on both sides. With that, everyone is back in class, and the lovers ask if they have made it. Shirai is there too, looking at the both of them, and then our hero decides to talk to Momo about her enthusiasm earlier. She says that she's being serious when she says that if Kuroto absolutely has to do such things, then she will help with it too. However, she only wants Kuroto to do these things with her and not Shirai. It's a clear case of jealousy, as Momo tells him to go out with her, not the exchange student. Now, before we move on to the next chapter, we see a short sketch where Shirai is mocking Kuroto for getting excited so easily. She says that even looking at the anatomy book could do the trick for him, but he says that she should not scold him. Shirai says she is only commenting based on what she is seeing, but Bro says that any guy going through puberty is the same. As a matter of fact, elephants can stand randomly in the middle of class too, for no reason at all. Shirai agrees that she has seen some of the guys lean awkwardly, so she calls all of them sick, although it's a bit harsh to say that. Now, we move to a sudden scene where Kuroto is telling Momo that what they are doing is bad. She says that it's fine because they are in a secretive place. Before we move further ahead, it's time for some context, so we go back to a flashback from a year ago. Momo bumps into Kuroto at school, and they have a chat about how they are in the same academy. Of course, the others have a field day with it because of Kuroto's reputation. He is visibly upset, but says nothing when Momo asks what's wrong. He eventually says that she should not bother getting involved with him, because the rumors will get to her. She jokes and asks if the others would think of them as accomplices, but Bro would rather not go into further detail. It has been a long time since they last saw each other, which was 5 years ago. Momo says that it used to be fun when the two of them would hang out, but Kuroto corrects her by saying it used to be the three of them. Momo gets scared and asks who this third person was, so Kuroto says it was his sister. Momo says that she does not want to talk about scary stuff, but our hero is disappointed that even she does not recall spending time with his sister. Momo can sense that something is off, because Kuroto is acting different. She apparently figures it out and says that Kuroto is going through a teenage phase where he thinks he has secret powers. He says no, but Momo jokes around some more, so he decides to leave. Momo says sorry because she did not think he would get so offended. Kuroto is not in the mood, so he asks Momo to stop talking to her, but she says that they could go back to the way things used to be. However, Kuroto is not in the right headspace, so he says out loud that Momo should stop talking to him. This startles everyone in the area, and they only think worse of him now. Momo apologizes once again, because she may have been acting a bit too familiar with him. The other students start to spread some more rumors about our hero, but he does not care, so he decides to leave the scene. This does affect Momo, but she can't really say anything to him now. Now, we are back to the present day, and can see that it's raining. Kuroto feels like he should say sorry to Momo for the way he snapped at her back then. After the ritual he had with her, it's hard for him to refuse her proposal too. Shirai is there with him, as she was hearing the story between Momo and Kuroto. She asks how things had been since then, but Kuroto says that they didn't really speak after that until now. Shirai asks Bro if he is going to date his cousin, but he says no, because he does not want to risk taking her back to such a dangerous place. Shirai teases him because of the shady things that already happened, so our hero admits that he did get a bit carried away. Shirai says that he is a man of culture, so it would have been impossible to say no at such a crucial time. She does not know about helping, so she would like to ask about dating. Kuroto says that he is not good enough for his cousin, as she will be able to find someone a lot better than him. Shirai says that's such a waste because he can say it all he wants, but to give it as a reason to someone who has confessed to him would imply that he's telling Momo she does not know how to choose her men. It's sort of insulting to girls, but Kuroto states that he has been nothing but a burden to Momo. There's just way too much guilt that's weighing on him, and Shirai makes it worse by calling him all kinds of names. It's a bit extra in terms of humiliation, but then Shirai also says that these things should not matter if he likes someone. Before she can get an answer, Kuroto says he has to go the other way, but then Shirai says that she has something she wishes to discuss with him. She asks if he would like to come over to her place, and the face she makes says it all. Bro says yes, but is surprised to see that her place is a shrine. He asks her about it, but she does not seem to have much information on it either. She only recently learned about the place, and she takes Kuroto inside. Shirai takes our hero to the library, so he asks her if she is going to give him some kind of shady novel. She says no, and states that they should be looking for clues that point towards his sister. This is big news for Kuroto because he now believes that something could be here. Of course, Shirai has already gone through most of the books, but could not find anything about bringing a person back, or even anything about the unsatisfied gap. Kuroto is confused, because Shirai does have that notebook, but she reveals that it is actually a keepsake from her mother. At this point, Kuroto is like Jon Snow, so he asks her about the details. Shirai states that the book was the reason she found out about this shrine being her family home. Our hero asks her why she brought him here, but she says it would be better if he saw it himself. Kuroto says that he trusts Shirai, so she did not have go through so much trouble, but she says that it is important for them to build their relationship further. Also, books are heavy, so she was hoping for Kuroto to flex his muscles a bit. After some joking around, the couple heads to the main library, and Kuroto points out that they are all regular books. It's possible that the shrine destroyed all the important books before they died. Now, if we're talking about building trust, it's important to know about Shirai's revenge story, so Kuroto asks her about it. She says that she lives her alone, as her mother passed away a year ago. She does not know about her father or anyone else, so it was just her and Mom. Apparently, the mother had left her family when she got pregnant with Shirai, so Kuroto asks if the family did not want her to inherit the shrine. Shirai says that the real reason was that her mom wanted to protect her from the unsatisfied gap. This is news to Kuroto, as Shirai reveals that her family members can enter the gap on their own. They have guarded it for generations, so her mom did not want her to get trapped in that inheritance. But it was because of this that she had no one else to rely on and had to do it like a solo mission. She worked herself to death because of this, so now Kuroto can understand why Shirai wants revenge. She says that she wanted to get back at the family estate, but when she got here, all of them had passed away. This did not settle anything for her, as the family left without her knowing what her involvement was. Shirai does not know how she is going to live with such unfulfilled feelings, but Kuroto calmly says that she wants to destroy the gap. However, it does sound like she's lashing out, to which Shirai agrees. This is the only thing left for her to destroy, and she is going to fulfill it no matter what. As a matter of fact, she only lives here so that she can remember her hatred towards them, because she can't accept that the family lived comfortably here until they met their end. Shirai looks far from an angel right now, so Kuroto is a bit concerned. She then says that her mother used to live here as well, and that's the gist of it. She hands over some books to Kuroto, but they're quite heavy for him to manage. He is happy that he has learned something about Shirai, even though he did not expect it to be just lashing out. Shirai tells him that he should not worry about her revenge and should just focus on getting his sister back. Kuroto is fine with that, but they still have not found any useful books. Our hero suggests taking a break, and then Shirai teases him for being in a girl's room for the first time. He says he's been in a few before, but that only means Momo. Kuroto takes a look at all the books in Shirai's room, and they all happen to be shady. There are some other books too, but Shirai says they belong to her mom. It's supposed to be her mother's old room, and a lot was left behind. She even says that it would be creepy if her mother could return at any time. Kuroto admits that it must be tough to search through so much stuff and not find anything. Shirai is upset that they don't have the coordinates to the next place, but she comes up with an idea. She suggests doing something naughty here, which Bro was not expecting at all. Shirai explains that her family has passed down the knowledge of the unsatisfied gap, so it would not be a stretch to consider the shrine as a coordinate as well. Kuroto asks if it would be hard to live in such a place, but Shirai says it's worth a try. Also, over here no one can see them, so they can do anything they want. Naturally, Kuroto gets nervous, as Shirai gets a bit too comfortable around him. He says this much is fine, but she is not satisfied with that. The shady acts continue, and we can also see that the Kamatama stone is glowing. Our hero goes for the pillows, but Shirai tells him to do more. Things are getting too hot to handle, so Kuroto tells Shirai this is ridiculous. He ends up banging his head against the book stand, and it causes a lot of books to fall off. Kuroto gets hurt, and it totally ruins the mood, so he says this was a bit too intense for him. He comments on how the bookshelf is poorly put together, but Shirai says it's fixed in its place and can't move. As our hero takes a look, he realizes something is up when he notices an odd spot. He asks Shirai about it, but she says it's just a groove. However, Kuroto says that the back part looks like it can be pushed, so he does exactly that. He takes the notebook from Shirai and uses it to push the groove, after which a clicking sound is heard. Suddenly, the bookshelf opens up to reveal a path downstairs. This is so strange, but Shirai asks Kuroto to go downstairs and check it out. He is a bit surprised, but she says that the boys are supposed to be doing these things. Kuroto asks Shirai if she is fine with this, because it may have something to do with her mother. Shirai tells him to go ahead first, and she will follow after him. With that said, the couple begins their descent into this new place, but Shirai is not completely dressed yet. So when she slips from the ladder, her cake is smashed into our hero's face. She asks if he is fine, but after a sniff like that, he won't be having any problems for a while. Now, the two of them find themselves inside what looks like an abandoned room. Shirai can't believe that something like this was under her nose the whole time, as there are lots of papers and notes lying around. To everyone's surprise, there are drawings of the Neno Kami as well, which means we have a strong discovery on our hands. There's a lot to take in, and Shirai wonders if there is any information relating to the new coordinates. From what can be seen on one of the papers, we can say that the Megatama's guidance is what the couple will need to rely on. Now, Kuroto finds another note that seems to talk about some kind of priestesses, but the drawings are very unclear. The text is faded too, so they'd probably need a scientist to figure it out. Our hero wonders if all the stuff really just belonged to Shirai's mother, but she feels perhaps there were other people involved too. A lot of the writing is old, with some of the letters looking like they are decades old, or even 100 years old. Of course, if Shirai's family has been managing the unsatisfied gap for so long, it's possible. One of the scrolls looks really ancient, but it looks like the duo has found the jackpot. It's the ritual of return for lost beings, which means that Kuroto actually has a chance to bring back his sister. Shirai and our hero can't believe that they have actually found it here, and our hero is relieved to have finally gotten some respite. However, upon opening the scroll, there is some bad news. The note is torn off with all the instructions missing. What the text roughly translates to is that they need to find the boundary castle and lower the Megatama offerings to the ground. There is also talk about gathering all the Megatama stones, but that's where the note is cut off. The couple now looks for the continuation of the torn scroll, but they don't have much luck. This sucks because just when a solution was there, it happens to be incomplete. Kuroto is still happy, because he at least knows that there is a way to get his sister back. He thanks Shirai for her support, and this makes her blush. She says that it's not that they could find this place because of her, so Kuroto also deserves credit. They do have a goal now, which is to collect all the Megatama stones. Kuroto is glad that their goals align, which means that they can still work together. Shirai says she will do some research, so they should call it a day for now. Our hero laments that despite all the progress, they still don't know the coordinates to the next location. Shirai says that the Megatama will guide them, as mentioned in the text. She takes a look at the one she's wearing, and notices that it's turning white. Kuroto takes a look at his, and the same thing is happening. Judging from what she has learned so far, Shirai assumes that they may have to make them completely white in order to move on to the next step. Kuroto asks if it will change as they wait, but Shirai says there wasn't any change when she checked in the morning. Our hero tries to scrub it, but heat doesn't do anything to the stone. Time passes by, but there is still no change, so Kuroto figures he and Shirai will need to do something to make the stones white. Now Momo shows up and greets her cousin. Although things do get a bit awkward, Kuroto is still thinking about the apology he needs to give from a year ago. But before that, Momo has something to ask him. She wants to know if he has come to a decision on what she offered him earlier. Our hero has, and he bows his head down to apologize to Momo, as he cannot be in a relationship right now. Momo is a bit startled, but Kuroto knows that he can't drag her into this mess any further. Once again, Bro says sorry because they have already done it, but Momo reassures him that she was the one who initiated it. Anyway, Bro said as of now, which means there is still a chance for them to get involved later on. Kuroto is surprised, so he asks Momo why she cares so much about him, especially after he snapped at her last year. She says that his actions did hurt her deeply, so he finally apologizes for his behavior. He was desperate back then, but what really hurt Momo was that he avoided her since that moment. We see a cute montage of it, and then Momo says that ignoring her was definitely the wrong decision. Bro agrees and says sorry once again for it. Momo repeats that being ignored by someone you have liked for so long is really hurtful, but Kuroto had no idea she liked him for so long. He asks her since when she has had such thoughts for him, so she actually has to think about it. She asks if he remembers the time he got injured, but Kuroto has been injured multiple times. She says there was that one time when things got really bad, as they were looking for a lost child. Kuroto can't remember this, but Momo reminds him that he had taken a really bad fall then, but he still didn't give up and kept looking. They eventually found the kid, and Kuroto even gave her a piggyback ride back home. His mom was tending to his wounds, and he was secretly crying in pain, so Momo has some fun by teasing him about it. However, this memory strikes our hero strongly, so he asks Momo if she knows who the lost kid was. Momo starts to think about who it could be, and she can now remember that she always used to play with her. However, she is not sure if she ever had a friend like that. After a little more thinking, she finally realizes something important. Her memories seem to be coming back, but she can't believe she forgot such important details. That's when we learn that the memory she is talking about is when Kuroto searched the mountain for his lost sister, and after she cried herself to sleep, he carried her back home. If this child did exist, then Momo comes to the realization that she was indeed Kuroto's sister. Momo apologizes to him immediately for doubting his words this whole time, but our hero is just glad that someone else has remembered his sister. Even so, Momo had said that Kuroto's sister was just an illusion, which is almost evil to say. People called our hero crazy because of it, and even Momo had distanced herself from him in order to not get involved. She curses herself for being this way, but Kuroto tries to calm her down by saying he was the mean one for avoiding her when she tried to talk to him normally. The others in the area start making up some more rumors, so no matter what he does, it looks like Kuroto is cooked. Now, Momo asks him for his sister's name because if she remembers it, then some more memories can come back. However, our hero can't seem to say her name, so Momo asks if he can't remember it. Bro says that he does remember it, but whenever he tries to say it out loud, no sound comes from his mouth. This could be because her existence has gotten erased, but Kuroto wants to try something, so he says her name. However, Momo doesn't hear anything, so it's the same as usual. He reveals that he has tried other ways too, like writing it down on paper, but whenever he does that, his hand stops moving. Momo can't believe that he is not able to say his own sister's name, so she asks if there is anything she can do to help. Kuroto is just glad that she remembers his sister, which is a good thing for him. He then reveals that he does not want to take his cousin to that dangerous place again, which is why he does not want to date her. Momo is not one to back down, so she demands Kuroto to take her back to the unsatisfied gap, as she wants to help him find his sister. Kuroto says that he does not want Momo to go to such dangerous places, but she says that she does not want him to go either. There's also the fact that if she does not go, then Bro will just play elephants and kitties with Shirai. He says that it's part of the ritual, so Momo says she will go with him, as she does not want Shirai to take him away from her. Our hero tells her once again that this is not the kind of place to go to for such things, but she says that she is being serious. Momo asks what will it take for him to take her along, but Bro does not answer. Momo figures she may need to do the ritual with him to trigger the transport, so she holds Kuroto's hand and takes him away. She is sure that she is serious, but Kuroto tells her that they need to do these things in the right coordinates, otherwise it will be for nothing. However, Momo shows off her pillows and says that she can at least do this much for him. Kuroto tries to calm himself down, as they are away from the academy. It's unlikely that they will end up in the unsatisfied gap, but that is not the point. Momo knows that she just needs to make Kuroto feel good, but he tries to stop her. It's a bit too late for that, as she has now come into contact with his python. It's time for some tongue twister action, so we are back to the earlier colored panels. She is really gonna town on Kuroto, so she asks if she is making him feel good. Bro would be lying if he said no, but Momo wants to try harder and make it even more intense. The cousin girl is pulling out all her tricks as she goes Hawk Tuah mode, and Kuroto says this is bad because he can't hold it any longer. She encourages him to let it all out, and you'd wonder if even Bonnie Blue or Lily Phelps talk like this. Our hero unleashes all his elephant water into her mouth, and she gulps it down like a soft beverage. Kuroto can't believe that Momo just swallowed, but she asks if she was not supposed to do that. It's no problem to Kuroto obviously, but if they have reached the end of the ritual, it means that there is no coordinate here. He also tells Momo that she should not make him explode when the situation is real, because that would mean the end for them. Momo laughs it off, but also asks her lover boy if he now understands how serious she is about helping him. He does get that she wants to help, but he wants to keep her safe. With such innocent eyes looking at him, it's hard for him to say no, although Momo is definitely far from innocent. Momo has a bright expression on her face, but Kuroto says that he will still need to talk to Shirai about it. He checks the time and realizes that they are about to be late for class. Momo feels she may have stretched it too long, but the both of them make it somehow. At the academy, Kuroto thinks about how he should explain the Momo situation to Shirai, but then she arrives and asks him why he is late today. He says that he was just meeting with Momo, so Shirai asks if he turned her down properly. He says yes, but also says that Momo is feeling strange about her memories with him. Shirai asks if this means she doesn't think of him as a creep, but then he says it is to do with his sister. Shirai says that it could be an effect of entering the unsatisfied gap, and then she asks if anything else happened. This causes our hero to act suspicious, especially when Shirai asks if something strange happened. She then mentions that in the morning, her Megatama started glowing and gradually became whiter. However, after some time, the white part faded away and it's black again, just how Disney likes it. Something has to be triggering it, and Shirai can only recall trying to seduce our hero when the Megatama stones became white back then. She feels something similar may have happened today, so she asks once again if Kuroto did anything with Momio. The stones would do really well for wives suspecting their husbands of cheating, because bro straight up confesses the truth. Shirai is quite angry, so Kuroto says that he was not the one who initiated it. Shirai is not surprised by that, because she knows that he does not have the guts for it. But now, she does understand something important. By keeping his intrusive thoughts at bay, the Megatama stones turn white. When the desires are released, they go back to being black. Basically, since the stones respond to shady intentions, Kuroto cannot release anything unless Shirai gives him permission to do so. This is like some dominatrix-level punishment, so Kuroto asks why he should require Shirai's permission. She says it's because she is the one performing the ritual, plus she did tell him right from the start that she would be managing his desires. Before he can say anything further, our hero notices Momo approaching him and Shirai. She needs to talk to the exchange student, so she asks what's up. Momo says that despite what she said earlier, she also wants to go to the unsatisfied gap. This is why she wants the couple to take her along. Shirai thinks for a bit and says yes, which surprises both Momo and Kuroto. Shirai says it's better this way because if Momo is somehow close to the coordinates, it would be better if the three of them would be together. Momo and Kuroto are glad to hear this, but then Shirai says that she will be the one performing the ritual. Momo is just supposed to be the audience, but this makes her upset. She says that the ritual is the whole reason she is coming in the first place, but Shirai says it should not be a problem, considering she is not dating Kuroto. She says that Shirai is not dating our Riz boy either, but she says it's fine because she does not have a problem with the nature of their relationship. The girls are fighting over Kuroto, so now we can safely be jealous of him, because the cousin thing has become redundant at this point. Now, both Momo and Shirai are fine to do naughty things with their lover boy, even if they are not dating him. They stare angrily at each other, so Kuroto tells them both that they need to chill. He was worried that his excitement over a cat fight would have landed them in the unsatisfied gap again. But now the girls ask him to decide with whom he wishes to perform the ritual from now on. Momo says it has to be her because she loves Kuroto way more than Shirai. The exchange girl says that her body matches his better than his cousin, and she has more knowledge too. She feels she is better for the rituals, but bro is shocked that he needs to choose one of them. He can't ignore how much Momoy has done for him and how she feels about him. At the same time, Shirai's knowledge will be crucial for their upcoming missions. He eventually says both girls, but Momo tells him that she wanted him to choose one. Shirai is fine with this because she has found another way to decide it. Basically, whoever can turn the Megatama stones white the most will win, so this has now turned into a proper battle of the kitties. This does sound like fun. And then we are introduced to yet another character who looks like a total babe. Momo confirms with Shirai that all they need to do is get Kuroto excited if they want the Megatama bead to change colors. With that, she accepts the challenge, but our hero laments the fact that his opinions and feelings are being ignored here. Not that a man of culture should complain about such things, but anyway, the girls decide to begin the challenge after school. He tells the girls that he did not consent to this, but the girls say this is only happening because he could not choose between them. Of course, it's more along the lines of not wanting to hurt their feelings, but such is life. Shirai even asks him if he couldn't decide because he wanted to enjoy both his babes. He says he honestly couldn't decide, but suddenly, someone shows up in the middle and recommends something from the vending machine. She even purchases it using Kuroto's coin. Bro is confused, so the girl says sorry for just butting in like that. She's the same babe we saw on the bench earlier, and she offers to buy a replacement. Kuroto says it's fine, but Shirai asks if this girl is a third-year student. She reveals she is indeed from the third year, and her name is Kyuko Hibizono. Kuroto and Shirai also introduce themselves, but Kyuko seems to already know them. She overheard their little chat, but not the part about our hero's harem problems. She is referring to the Megatama beads and the ritual. Suddenly, Kyuko asks if the couple is into the occult, but that's a bit out of pocket. Kuroto is really confused now, so Kyuko reveals she is a part of the occult research club. They don't have any members, so she asks the couple if they are in any clubs of their own. They say no, so Kyuko shadily suggests joining the occult club. She says that Kuroto can get Momo into it as well, but he says no, as does Shirai. Kyuko makes a cute face, but Shirai drags Kuroto away before his intrusive thoughts take over. Kyuko seems to be upset, but she says the couple can let her know if they change their minds. Anyway, she asks our hero what he was mentioning earlier, but Shirai says it was from a novel. Kyuko says that she isn't really into novels, as she is more of a manga girl, which is why she watches comic guzzlers. It's time for her leave, so she bids farewell to the couple, but they find her weird, although Shirai isn't too far off. She tells Kuroto that he's way too weak when it comes to girls, because it definitely did look like he was going to give in to Kyuko's charms. She brings up Momo too, but Bro says that his cousin is different. Shirai gets jealous, as she asks Kuroto if he is accommodating Momo because she is curvy, but he says that the real reason is because she still likes him despite the way he treated her earlier. He can't say no to someone like that, which is fair. Shirai then asks why he didn't turn down Kyuko immediately, but he says there was another reason for it. He got a strange feeling from her, almost as if he had met her somewhere before. Shirai says that he could have passed by her several times in the hallways, but this is something more recent. Bro can recognize Kyuko's scent, but Shirai calls him a creep for being able to literally sniff women out. Our hero rejects the sniffer allegations, but the bell rings, so they decide to forget about Kyuko. The couple will meet at Shirai's place after school, and then Kuroto takes a sip of the drink Kyuko had selected. It's not bad at all, and then we move later to the scene of the battle. Both Momo and Shirai are pumped for this, but Kuroto asks if they are seriously doing this. The whole thing turns into a quest now, with the main condition being the girl who gets to die the Megatama the most wins. They have 10 minutes each, and Momo is allowed to go first. She is surprised by this, but Shirai says that if she goes first, then the Megatama bead will get dyed instantly. This makes Momo even more competitive, but Shirai says she could only go halfway after the events of this morning. Shirai adds that if Momo can dye the whole Megatama bead right away, then she will concede defeat immediately. Momo says that Shirai is underestimating her a bit too much, and she is going to regret it. Shirai doesn't care, and she tells Momo to get on with it. This causes her to panic, because she is not even mentally ready for this. Anyway, she takes Kuroto inside, as if this is going to be like 7 minutes in heaven. She asks Momo to turn around as she prepares herself, but he says there's no point if he is going to view the goods anyway. Momo says she does not like being watched as she prepares herself, so Bro agrees to turn around. She gets down to almost her birthday suit, and now Kuroto can look. He is visibly flustered, so Momo asks him to say something. He says she looks like a total babe, which makes her blush instantly. She is really embarrassed now, so Kuroto tells her she does not need to force herself to do this. Momo says that is not the case and she wants to do this, so Bro tells her to go ahead. After an awkward silence, Momo asks what she should do, but Kuroto tells her she should have thought about this first. She says that she is not used to this kind of thing, especially because this is Alabama territory, but then Shirai reminds her that she only has 8 minutes left now. Momo has to act fast, so she asks our hero to go for her pillows. He is a bit nervous, but he goes ahead anyway and comments that not only are they bigger, but they're also softer than Shirai. Suddenly, she peeks into the room with an angry glare, because she could sense that Bro thought of something rude. Momo tells him to only focus on her for now, so it's squishing time. Kuroto continues with his actions, and enjoys it for a while, as Momo confirms that this won't be enough for him to finish. Bro has had enough, so he asks if he can go for the direct touch. Momo says yes, so the pillows are out and bare. Her hands are on his elephant too, and then she asks how she feels. Kuroto says he is feeling God's fine work, and even Momo can sense that his python is starting to stand in attention. This goes on for a while, so it's time for some action with the Twin Peaks. This affects Momo greatly, so she goes for some tongue twister action. But at that very moment, the buzzer rings, which means that 10 minutes are up. Shirai enters, and she is quite upset. So she takes the Mega Tama bead from Momo. It hasn't died by much, but Shirai says it's not bad. Momo feels completely defeated because she put in a lot of effort, but Kuroto tells her that he was really excited. However, Shirai tells the couple to look at the result, which is a more accurate measure of our hero's excitement. She scolds Momo for thinking her pillows were going to be enough, because she seems to have forgotten the basic standards on comic guzzlers. She is now going to show her how it's done. So she sets the timer to 10 minutes and prepares herself. Kuroto can see a damp spot down there, but Shirai tells him to prepare himself as well. She gives him a bit of a show, and then proceeds to get him into his birthday suit, just like her. He is then told to get into bed, and Shirai warns him that what she is about to do will tickle him a bit. She then goes on to show the real power of a tongue, and says that Momo would never have been able to do it. This continues for a while, but Bro can see that even Shirai's kitty water is starting to flow. She says it's just sweat, but she isn't fooling our viewers. She becomes a bit too flustered, so she decides to straight for the tongue twister double hawk Tua Deluxe. Kuroto was definitely not expecting this, but she tells him not to move. She is unrelenting in her technique, and even activates beast mode on her tongue for enhanced results. She then looks at our hero with confidence and asks if it feels even better than before. Of course, he was already in an excited state because of Momo, but this is taking him over the edge. Things are about to get really intense, but Kuroto says he can't take it anymore, so he pulls away. They still have a little under 3 minutes left, but bravo to Bro for lasting over 17 minutes like this in total. Shirai is disappointed, but Momo says that she can't go too far, otherwise all of it would have been for nothing. Shirai says that she didn't even get serious yet, but Momo says that Kuroto is already at his limit, which can be seen on his face. Shirai is upset because she wanted to enjoy our hero a bit longer, but the important thing for her is that she got her Megatama bead to completely change color. She has won the challenge, so she asks Momo if she has any complaints. Suddenly, the bead on Kuroto reacts to the one on Shirai, and both of them connect with each other like yin and yang. This causes a flash of blinding lights, and then we see the girls waking up Kuroto. He is surprised to see the united beads, but that means the mission has been completed. Everyone gets dressed, and then they step out of the house because the beads are taking them to a certain direction. The other side seems to be closer than they had first thought, and Shirai seems to recognize the place the beads are pointing towards. The triple couple makes their way to the area, and just as Shirai had expected, this is a part of her family's estate. Momo asks her if she is a rich girl, but she says that the amount of land her family owns is largely unnecessary. If they keep going, they will reach the cemetery of Shira's family's shrine. And as they move, Momo asks if they will have to engage in shady actions again. Shirai says yes, and reminds Momo that if she is not ready to do the ritual, then she should not enter with them. Momo says she is fine with it because she was the one who wanted to tag along. Plus, she has never said that she would never do the ritual. Shirai reminds her that she lost the challenge, but Momo counters that she cheated, because anyone would lose it if subjected to such intense acts. Kuroto doesn't have much patience left, so he asks the girls to get along with each other, because it's really difficult to think with all this arguing. Shirai teases him again by saying he only wants to enjoy both her and Momo, which causes him and her to blush. Eventually, Kuroto decides to be honest, and he reveals that he actually does want to enjoy both Shirai and Momo. He even asks if that is a bad thing because heroes like Ceres and Wayne have massive harems on comic guzzlers, including mommies too. Both the girls are shocked to hear this, because Bro has spoken like a total Chad. They then decide not to argue with each other, as it would not be fair to push their lover boy so much. Shirai is willing to call a truce, but Momo just makes a cute face. Kuroto tells her that he mainly expressed his feeling for her sake, and Shirai reminds her once again that she won, fair and square, so this is her being nice. Momo eventually accepts, but she makes a big deal of it, even though she lost. Anyway, a couple of people are now seen walking down the stairs, and they cross the triple couple as if nothing is happening. Suddenly, the man stops and asks Kuroto if he is here for the test of courage. He doesn't understand, so the man says that it's just surprising for him to see students over here. He adds that coming here for shady purposes is not something to be praised, but he has no intention of interfering with them. After all, youth only comes once, or in this group's case, multiple times. Shirai says that her relatives' graves are here, and she has come to pay her respects with her friends. The man apologizes for the misunderstanding and asks the triple couple to be careful, as it is already dark, and they should mind their steps. With that, the man and woman leave, but Shirai is intrigued by them. She's actually mainly impressed by the woman's pillows, as is Kuroto, but Momo tells them to focus. Now, the curvy woman refers to the man as Sanjuro-sama and confirms that the uniforms on the group are from Shin-Atsu Academy. He seems to have understood something from this, but says that they don't need to act immediately, as they will meet them again soon enough in the other world. This is really ominous, and the story is definitely starting to kick off now. Now, Momo learns that the black monsters are called Nenokami, and they can only be driven away when certain rituals are performed as per certain body parts. Suddenly, the beads go crazy, which means that the group has reached their destination. Momo quickly holds on to Kuroto, so he asks her what's wrong. Shirai asks if she is scared, so Momo states that the devil's hour is in effect. Shirai tells her if she is getting so scared, then she should not go inside. Momo insists that she will be fine, and then she notices the Shirai family's ancestral tomb. Kuroto asks if they should say a prayer, but Shirai says that she does not care about these people. Our hero is surprised, because her mother should also be here, but Shirai states that there's no way she would be buried in this cemetery. She honors her mom at home anyway, so it's no big deal. Momo is confused, so Kuroto apologizes for bringing up Shirai's past. She says that it isn't something she needs to hide, but the atmosphere is heavy now. Shirai asks why the mood has gone damp, because they need to do something shady now. Kuroto agrees with her, but states that San was right about doing unspeakable things in front of a grave. That's true, so he suggests moving somewhere else to do it. Shirai doesn't look too keen, so Bro asks her what's wrong. At that moment, a bug gets close to her, so she freaks out. Kuroto figures out that she is afraid of bugs, which is unexpected because of how tough she always acts. Shirai says that it's perfectly normal for some girls to be scared of bugs, but Momo takes advantage of this. She grabs a bug and brings it closer to Shirai, resulting in her panicking once again. Momo finds this hilarious, but Shirai reminds her that she was being extra scared of the grave earlier. Momo suddenly says that Shirai is actually cute for this, and it flusters her. Anyway, the group has to get inside before it gets dark, especially as there are no street lights over here. Since everyone is in agreement, Shirai says that she will allow Momo to go first. She says that she will not hold back this time, and she tells Kuroto to touch her as he likes. She lifts up her uniform, so Bro goes for it right away. He may have taken her by surprise, because Momo reacts with panic. However, her kitty water awakens, so she tells her lover boy to continue with his actions. Bro is not going to stop now, so he lets out all the shady intentions he has been holding back. This seems to be good enough to trigger the transportation, and before you know it, they have reached. Shirai now separates Kuroto from Momo, because she is clearly jealous. Momo says she needs more time to savor the feeling, but Shirai says they are already here, so she should stop messing around. Kuroto says that's rich coming from Shirai, but then he gets captivated by what he sees in front of him. There is a broken down building in front of them, and the atmosphere is totally different. Shirai says that it has a creepy vibe, but it's bright, so Momo is fine with it. Kuroto says this should be good for Shirai too, as he can't see any bugs around. She says that anyway, such creatures cannot exist in the unsatisfied gap. Our hero now says that since this unsatisfied gap has been around for ages, something seems to be off apart from the shady meta joke in its name. The design of this building seems to be modern, unlike the older buildings they had seen earlier. There's no point thinking about it now, as the Mega Tama beads have separated. They will have to search for the next one themselves, so the triple couple gets to work. Next to a stairwell, they hear something that sounds like taps, and Momo says it must be a rat. But Shirai has already explained that such animals can't exist here. Kuroto says that it could be a Nenokami, but this one sounds more like a human. Suddenly, the group notices that a shady character has appeared. She is wearing a creepy mask, and seemingly refers to Kuroto as Big Brother. Before we go ahead with this, there is a brief colored section where we see Kyuko giving our hero some tongue twister action. He is asking her to wait, but she says that it can't be helped if he gets too excited. She continues with the fun, and then we are taken back to the current scenario. This new person could be a Nenokami, but has a human form. More than anything, Kuroto is taken aback by her calling him Big Brother. There's no time to waste, so Shirai grabs his arm and takes off. She says that they need to keep their distance, but Kuroto wants to know more about this mysterious person. Shirai says that the monster is absolutely dangerous, but after a while, they can see that it is no longer chasing them. They can't believe what they have just experienced, because that thing definitely did not look like a Nenokami. Our hero still can't get over the fact that it called him Big Brother, but Shirai asks him if he seriously thinks that such a being could be his sister. The presence was definitely something inhuman, but Kuroto surely thought that its size and shape were different. Even so, they have no idea what it is, and even Shirai says she wants to learn more about it. Not only was it in a human shape, it could speak as well, which is suspicious. Moreover, it would not say something like that unless it knew about Bro's sister. Shirai says that it could have meant big sister too, based on the enunciation of the Japanese language. Now, the couple realizes something, which is that Momo is not here with them. Kuroto worries that she has been taken by the human monster, but Shirai tells him to chill. She has found Momo hiding from the monster, but completely frozen in fear. Kuroto does not understand how she got there in the first place, but Shirai explains that she had run away from the monster much before either of them. Momo is still trembling from fear, so Shirai has some fun by spooking her out. She says not to scare her like that. Shirai asks if she can make any progress if she gets scared so easily. Momo reasons that this monster was different because it could talk, but our hero tells her not to run away the next time because he got really worried for her. Shirai adds that if they split up, then all their efforts will be for nothing. Momo says sorry, because the only thing she could do in that situation was run like the Flash. She says she will not run away next time, although Kuroto says that they should definitely do it when it's needed. Shirai says that she can handle the ritual with Bro while Momo hides, but this is not going to go down if you catch my drift. Kuroto says that the three of them decided to do this together, but she says it will be pointless if Momo keeps getting spooked. It's true, so Momo says that she will do the ritual for sure. Shirai casually says that there is a Nenokami behind her, but she does not believe it. Kuroto says that this is the truth because there is actually a monster behind Momo. This is bad news, so Momo runs again, which annoys Shirai. They were supposed to do the ritual, but Momo says that she is not mentally ready yet. The Nenokami is able to catch up to them with ease, and it seems to be able to use its tongue to attack others. Momo is able to dodge it, and she thanks her long jumping skills for it, although this is not the time to say such things. The chase is on, but something is coming from the front now. The triple couple is shocked to see that there could be another Nenokami monster, so Momo asks the others to stop. Kuroto asks her why she is being so indecisive, but Momo is only thinking of an ideal escape route. They are going to get surrounded like this, and soon enough, she realizes that there is only one method of escape. She goes straight for Kuroto's elephant, which surprises him and Shirai. This surprises even the Nenokami monster, but Kuroto asks why the sudden change in mood. Momo says that she too can perform the ritual, but Shirai says that she was being hesitant not too long ago. Even so, she notices that it's affecting the monster, although there's another one there as well. The girls need to act fast, otherwise they're all cooked over here. Shirai figures she also needs to utilize her skills, so she decides to join the party. Kuroto is not sure of this, but Shirai tells him to enjoy himself. She has noticed that this monster is affected by thighs, so she could end it by using her own thighs. Her hunch is correct, and Bro is living the dream. Momo gets a bit too close to Shirai, and it affects her performance, but all we can say is that it should have been me, not him. Shirai acts fast and tells her lover boy to move his hips like Shakira. This leads to some double action for her as well, which causes some kitty water to spill. Anyway, it works out and the Neno Kami monsters disappear. Kuroto is fighting everything just to control himself, and now he can relax, although his basketballs must be super blue. Shirai compliments Momo for taking action, and even she shows appreciation to her rival for acting fast. They are finally getting along, so Kuroto strikes a pose and says it was a good idea to bring the two of them here. Now, it's time to look for the altar, but then Momo sees something upsetting. The other asks what's up, so she points up to show somebody on the rooftop. It's the same scary girl from before, but she tells Kuroto to follow her. He decides to listen to her, but the girls tell him it's a trap. Bro says they won't get anywhere at this rate, and he also wants to see this person's true form. They may not know what kind of ritual is needed for this character, but Shirai feels like word teasing could work. Momo can't believe that getting excited is so easy, but she clearly doesn't know about our hero. Now, the group goes to the top of the roof and notice that there is an altar. It does not look like a trap so far, and we can even see a Megatama stone here. The group takes a look at the instructions, and it looks like we're going to see some happy doggies. Momo is clearly embarrassed by this, so Shirai suggests doing it herself. Momo says she should also join in, but Kuroto says this is something that can only be done between two people. The others agree with him, and then Shirai figures this is a rare occasion for a taste test. Kuroto and Momo don't follow, so Shirai reveals it's about taking turns. Our hero thinks that's a bit too much, and even Momo says that it's really shady. Shirai says it's fine because she'll handle the task, but Momo is not cool with that. Kuroto asks the girls to please chill, but Shirai says he does want to try both flavors. Bro tries to be cool about it, but eventually gives in and says that he's in. Shirai tries to make him say please, and succeeds at that too. Shirai makes him say the words out loud, and there's no time to waste. So our hero speaks his mind. Momo can't believe this, but Shirai says they have no choice but to take turns now. Kuroto does not like that he is being used as a boy toy, but such is life. He is presented with quite the sight, and no man of culture can resist it. With that, the activities begin and the babes like what is being done. Shirai asks for Kuroto's feedback too, because that's the whole point of this taste test. Bro turns into a connoisseur and talks like a proper critic as he mentions how Shirai's kitty cat wraps around him really well and tight, whereas Momo's is soft and makes him feel as if he's being enveloped. This may be embarrassing, but Shirai asks Kuroto which one he prefers. He says there's no way he can make a choice, and then he moves to Shirai so that she can stop asking him so many questions. This keeps on for a while, and both the girls seem to be close. The next thing we know, Shirai and Momo experience massive and with that, the triple couple is transported back to their world. As everyone gets dressed, Kuroto tells Shirai that there is a bug on her shoulder. This makes her panic, and Momo tells her to calm down because she still needs to put on more clothes. After a short struggle, the bug goes off, and she can relax. Now, Kuroto looks for the Megatama bead that Shirai dropped in the process, but to everyone's surprise, it gets picked up by the creepy character. Kuroto tries to stop her, but he slips and falls. The strange woman has vanished, and the girls check up on him. He's completely covered in mud, and when asked about the Megatama, he says it got stolen. This is shocking, but Shirai admits it was her fault for dropping the bead. She also realizes that the mysterious woman has to be a human if she was able to come back to this world with them. They still need to figure something out, as collecting the beads is their goal. Shirai says they will get it back, but Kuroto has noticed something even more alarming. The person they saw was wearing the same uniform as their school. This means that there is an imposter among us in the school. There are 500 female students in the school, so it will be difficult to narrow it down. The only option is to look for someone with a similar figure. Momo says that if this person is in their own school, then they can simply enter the unsatisfied gap with her. After all, Momo entered without even knowing it the first time, so it's possible the villain entered with them the same way. Shirai agrees with Momo that this is a good idea, but Kuroto wonders what this person had been up to until now. After all, they have gone to the unsatisfied gap 3 times in school, and didn't see her then. Kuroto tries to deduce the reasoning behind this, but Shirai says the girl will be on guard now. Even so, she should know that she can enter the gap at school. So, Shirai says they will have to catch her off guard. Now, we move to another scene in the morning as someone doesn't want to wake up from her sleep. It's the same imposter from before, and she wants to sleep for 5 more minutes. Later in class, the students are a bit confused when they learn that Kuroto and Shirai are leaving early. Anyway, Momo enters the washroom and apologizes for being late. Shirai tells her to be quiet as classes are still on. Momo tells Shirai to address her informally, signifying a growing friendship. Kuroto is clueless, but it's time to get their freak on. To do such a thing in the middle of class would definitely catch the imposter off guard. With that, Shirai and Momo decide to offer themselves to the task, and Kuroto can continue enjoying the ideal life. Momo and Shirai tells Bro to come closer for a better view, and they call him out for having loads of intrusive thoughts. Kuroto is not going to just stand there and take any disrespect, so he unleashes his trusted finger blaster. Shirai is targeted at first, but then Momo teases our hero a bit, so he goes for her too. It doesn't take long for the temperatures to rise, and before we know it, they are all transported to the unsatisfied gap. Shirai says they should begin the search, but quietly. With that, the group gets to work, but after some time, they figure they aren't getting anywhere. Perhaps they could go inside the building, but that would only make things more difficult. Shirai remembers that the girl was quite tall for a female, which makes Kuroto remember that the senior they met before was also quite tall. The girls can't recall her name, but Bro can, as he says it's Hibizono. Shirai teases him by saying he got distracted by her scent, but he says it just felt familiar to him. It was kind of like a flowery scene, and as a matter of fact, Kuroto can smell it now as well. Momo says that Hibizono was eavesdropping on their conversation earlier too, but then she falls to the ground. Momo says that something just kicked her, but then her hand squeezes something. She takes a look and it's a sleeping girl, which naturally spooks her out. Momo screams, and the girl wakes up, telling Momo not to interrupt her nap. It's none other Hibizono, and she has been found out, so she makes a run for it. The group chases after her, and are still in disbelief that she is the senior who was after them. However, before they can catch up to her, there is a Neno-kami monster in front of them. Kuroto and the girls stop, but surprisingly, the monster does not do anything to Hibizono, and allows her to pass. The Neno-kami goes after our main gang, and they run away while Hibizono mocks them with the Mega Tama bead. Kuroto, Shirai, and Momo manage to lock themselves inside a cabin, but they can't figure out why the monster ignored Hibizono and chased them instead. This is quite suspicious, but they have lost track of their senior now. Shirai says they should go back to school, which may sound like she's giving up, but isn't the case. After all, if someone can get ignored by the Neno-kami monsters, then it's like the ultimate cheat code. Shirai also adds that they now have the senior's identity, so there's no need to search for her any longer. The group heads to the altar, and classes should be over by now, so they can return without being seen. The ritual for this time would require the girls to turn into cowgirls, and Shirai allows Momo to take lead here. Shirai still has to do something, so she says that she will focus on Kuroto's upper part. With that, our hero once again lives out the ultimate fantasy, and the folks at Comic Guzzlers can only aspire to be in his place. Bro can't speak, but in such situations, silence is golden. Momo complains that she can't see her lover boy's face, as Shirai is covering it, but she tells her there is no need to look at it. Of course, things keep getting harder for Kuroto, but he must continue fighting this battle. He can't breathe, but Momo decides to play a bit with Shirai too. Of course, she gives it back, and her tactics affect Momo a lot more. She reaches her limit soon enough, so Shirai decides to crank up the pace for herself as well. The girls don't waste any time, and then there is a flurry of explosions that take the group back to the classroom. They're in quite an awkward position, but luckily nobody has seen them. There are other students around, so they all need to get dressed quickly. They barely manage to avoid being seen, but Kuroto says that Hibizono should also have been transported. She is nowhere to be found though, so they are in a bit of a pickle. How are these guys going to locate their target? And what exactly is Hibizono's deal? Does she have a connection to the unsatisfactory gap? There's more to learn and unfold, but unfortunately, we have reached the end of today's video. Like, share, and subscribe if this story is a nice change from the regular stuff you see on Comic Guzzlers. Show this video some love, and I'll make sure to cover all the remaining chapters too. This manga is still getting updated on the go, so there's a lot more to see regarding Kuroto and his journey with Shirai, Hibizono, and Momo. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one.